The story begins in 1962 aboard a ship named Antonia Grazza, sailing in the ocean. In the main hall, wealthy passengers are joyfully dancing when a man pulls a lever. Suddenly, a wire cuts through the crowd, killing everyone. Only a young girl named Katie survives because the wire passes over her due to her height. Witnessing the horrifying scene, Katie screams. What happens next remains a mystery. The story then shifts to the present day, 40 years later. A salvage crew, led by Captain Sean Murphy, has just saved a ship and brought it to shore. That evening, while celebrating their success, a man named Jack Ferryman approaches them. Jack introduces himself as a weather service pilot and reveals that a ship called Antonia Grazza disappeared 40 years ago in the Bering Sea. He claims the ship contains valuable treasure and offers to guide the crew to it. Tempted by greed, Sean and his crew agree to the plan. The next day, they set off to locate the Antonia Grazza. Initially, they find nothing, but soon the ship appears on their radar. It's the very same ship that vanished in 1962. The crew is thrilled. Sean and his team board the ship, while Jack and another crew member stay behind on their steamer. Inside the ship, Sean and his team hear strange noises. They find a clock's pendulum still swinging. As they approach, the pendulum suddenly stops. One of them tries to touch it, but a loud noise startles the group. Nearby, they see a Scrabble board, and the letters mysteriously rearrange to spell welcome. As they explore further, the floor beneath one crew member collapses, but Maureen catches him just in time. While helping him up, Maureen glimpses a young girl below. It's Katie, the same girl who survived the wire incident. Strangely, Katie looks the same age as she did 40 years ago. Before Maureen can react, Katie vanishes. Confused and shaken, Maureen questions whether it was real or just her imagination. The group continues their exploration and finds a modern wristwatch in a cabin. The captain notes that such watches didn't exist in 1962, suggesting someone else may have visited the ship. They retrieve the ship's manual and return to their team. The next morning, they discover a massive hole in the ship's hull, causing it to slowly sink. The crew decides to repair the damage within 3 days to tow the ship to safety. Everyone begins working. Meanwhile, Maureen investigates the ship's swimming pool and is shocked to find bullet holes in its walls. As she climbs out, she sees Katie again. Frightened, she falls back into the pool, hitting her head. Blood begins flowing from her wound, but the pool mysteriously absorbs it. Looking up, Maureen expects to see Katie, but finds Jack instead. Jack helps her out, and as they leave, the pool fills entirely with blood. Later, Maureen and Jack open a door, releasing a flood of water. They press on, and eventually discover a room containing 9 wooden boxes. Calling the rest of the crew, they open the boxes to find 28 gold bars in each. Stunned by their discovery, they decide to abandon the ship and take the gold. The crew loads the gold onto their boat, elated by their newfound wealth. However, their boat's gas nozzle activates on its own, releasing gas into the air. Meanwhile, Maureen once again sees Katie running toward her, but someone pushes Katie back. On board the boat, one of Maureen's friends starts the engine. This triggers an explosion, destroying the boat and killing him in the blast. Maureen is confused and determined to learn more about the girl she keeps seeing. She checks the ship's records and discovers the girl's name is Katie. When Maureen finds Katie's room, she uncovers Katie's skeleton and realizes that the Katie she has been seeing is her ghost. Meanwhile, Sean Murphy is in the captain's cabin when the spirit of the ship's captain appears. The captain offers him a glass of wine and shows him a photo of a ship named Laurel. He explains that in 1962, they rescued the Laurel and brought its gold aboard the Antonia Grazza. However, just 2 days later, the Antonia Grazza vanished. The captain then shows Sean another photo, and Sean's face turns pale upon seeing it. Elsewhere, Maureen talks to Katie's ghost, who reveals that the ship is haunted by the souls of many people. She explains that someone is collecting these souls and will only release them once their purpose is fulfilled. Another crew member stumbles into a room that reverts to how it looked 40 years ago. A singer appears, performing as if the party never ended. The singer's ghost seduces the crew member and takes his life, marking the second death among the group. 2 other crew members find what seems to be a feast and start eating, only to realize it's human flesh. Horrified, they begin vomiting. Sean Murphy, now aware of the ship's dark secrets, desperately searches for Maureen. But he encounters the ghost of his friend who had died in the earlier explosion. Meanwhile, Maureen tries to escape and find Sean. However, Sean, disoriented and seeing his dead friend's face on Maureen, attacks her. Maureen manages to injure Sean's leg. Just as Sean is about to kill her, Jack intervenes, knocks Sean unconscious, and locks him in an aquarium below deck. The remaining crew members decide to repair the ship and escape. While working, Maureen searches for another missing crew member and encounters Katie's ghost again. Katie shows Maureen a vision of the ship's massacre in 1962. In the vision, passengers and crew are killed in horrific ways, including Katie herself. Maureen learns that after the massacre, a group of looters arrived to steal the gold. However, the singer's ghost seduced one of the looters and manipulated him into killing his companions. Eventually, the singer killed him too, thinking the gold would be hers. But then the true mastermind appeared, a man who used a hook to kill the singer. Katie reveals to Maureen that the mastermind behind it all is Jack, the man who brought them to the ship. Jack is not human but a demon collecting souls, possibly for the devil. Realizing Sean Murphy was innocent, Maureen races to the aquarium to save him but finds he has already died. She notices the photo the captain had shown her floating in the water. It was of Jack, confirming his identity as the demon. Determined to stop Jack, Maureen tells her surviving companion to keep an eye on him while she searches for their missing partner underwater. Tragically, she discovers he has also been killed by Jack. Jack confronts Maureen's remaining partner, who shoots Jack, believing him to be dead. However, Jack survives. Meanwhile, Maureen decides to destroy the ship entirely. She sets explosives around the vessel, but just as she is about to complete her plan, her partner arrives. The man who had just shot Jack tells Maureen they shouldn't blow up the ship. However, Maureen refuses to listen and insists that the ship must be destroyed. She explains that many souls are trapped here and more people will continue to be lured to their deaths because of the gold. She believes the only way to stop the cycle is to destroy the ship. Suddenly, the man transforms into Jack, revealing that Jack had killed him earlier. Jack explains to Maureen, "You and I are alike. Just as you salvage ships stranded at sea, I collect souls." He reveals that he was once human but committed terrible sins, after which he was assigned the role of a soul collector. He needs a ship for his work and insists that Maureen must not destroy it. Maureen refuses to give in. Jack tries to stop her, but Maureen injures his leg with an arrow. Using the same arrow, she activates the detonator and leaps off the ship. A massive explosion tears through the Antonia Grazza. Underwater, Maureen finds herself trapped beneath the wreckage. Just as she begins to lose hope, Katie's soul appears and guides her toward the surface. With great effort, Maureen swims up and escapes. She watches as the souls trapped aboard the ship are finally freed, including Katie's. The souls ascend toward the afterlife, liberated from Jack's control. Maureen realizes that Katie had never been enslaved by Jack because her soul remained pure, which is why Katie had been helping her all along. Exhausted but alive, Maureen clings to a piece of debris. By morning, she is rescued by a passing ship. She is brought to the port, where, from an ambulance, she witnesses a horrifying sight. Jack is still alive. He is overseeing the transfer of the Antonia Grazza's gold to another ship, preparing to continue his grim work of luring more victims and collecting their souls. Maureen screams in despair as she realizes the cycle will continue. The film ends with this chilling scene. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.